Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castro.
Welcome to another day of brunch. It's a Wednesday hump day. Wow,
We have ginataang mais.
Oh, request
Sarap.
ni ni Angel.
I love it.
Ilang araw na nung absent siya kasi pinahinandayan dito. So, nagtampo
Hindi po
na.
pwede.
Hindi pwedeng wala daw sa kanya. Anyway, madami tayong pag-uusapan and as we all know, it's approaching yung actual procession ng traslasyon.
Of course.
Which is happening tomorrow, I think midnight, di ba? And then we always cover that kasi yung tracker natin of yung speed ng procession. Plus, sana walang aberya, di ba? But we're ready to cover that and we have all the medical personnel, yung mga
Of course,
ready
Red
sila doon.
Cross, ready sila doon.
Oh, ready sila doon.
As of now, as we speak, ang mga devotees na nagpunta na doon today is
Haba ng
around
pila.
21,000 na.
Yung sa Pahalik daw,
Yes.
maabot sabi mo kanina ng Rojas Boulevard.
Oo,
yung
mahaba.
Pahalik.
Inagahan na nila eh. Tapos merong segregation ng mga buntis, PWDs, senior citizens sa mga pahalik.
As the years are progressing, natututo tayo how to have a more organized traslasyon. But we'll talk about that more in a bit. We're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Let's start off our countdown with the ongoing pahalik. The pahalik of the Jesus Nazareno continues at the Quirino Grandstand in Manila. To give us more updates, we have Mobile Journal, Evan Tarinque. Evan?
Yes, Evan?
Diego, Angela, tuloy-tuloy pa rin nga yung pagdating ng mga devotees ng Jesus Nazareno dito sa Quirino Grandstand. No? Kanina nga nakita natin, yung pila umabot na sa may Rojas Boulevard, no? Yung mga nakausap naman nating mga deboto kanina, yung halo-halo. No? Gayo iba galing probinsya, yung iba naman within Metro Manila. Kanina may naabutan tayo, alas 5 pa lang ng umaga ay nakapila na siya dito para lang makahalik dito nga kay Jesus Nazareno.
Yes,
Diego, Angela.
Yes, Evan, yesterday kausap namin, I think it was Merrimon. No? Medyo maiksi pa yung pila. But to give us an idea, can you just move your camera a little bit para alam namin yung pwesto mo and to give us the idea ng gaano kahaba talaga tong linya na to.
Okay, so Diego, ikot ko kayo dito, no? So, eto sa harapan ko, ito na yung mismong gate papunta doon sa may hagdan, paakyat doon sa may Poongin Jesus Nazareno.
Evan,
Pero ito may kita mo.
Is this sa gilid ng grandstand itong nakikita ko? Sa gilid ng Quirino Grandstand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, tama ka dyan, Diego. Nasa gilid ito ng grandstand. Tapos may kita natin, itong dalawang lines, segregated ito. No? Meron nga 4 pila ng PWD at senior citizen, mga buntis. At meron naman sa kabila, yung mga ating regular folks, no? Kita natin, ayan, may kita natin, medyo malapit ito. Ito malapit na to, no? Pero pag inikot mo dito sa may bandang to, aabot to doon sa may Rojas Boulevard, no? Actually, umikot na nga, no? Nag-alaahas na, no? Nag-L na. Pagdating doon sa may Rojas Boulevard, nakita natin, marami pa rin yung mga kababayan natin nga naghihintay na makahalik ngayong umaga, no? Kanina nga, sa gate pa lang, actually sa entrance pa lang, papusok dito ay sinisegregate na nila yung mga PWDs, mga buntes at mga senior citizen para pagdating dito sa parteng ito ay dire-diretso na yung kanilang pagpasok sa loob ng grandstand. Diego, Angela?
Oo, Evan, so nakikita nga natin kung gaano kahaba itong pila na to para sa pahalik na this is actually the second day na kahapon yung unang araw. I was wondering kung ano to, Evan, 24 hours ba yung nangyayari na pila dito all day lang?
Yes, Angela, tuloy-tuloy yung pahalik na nangyayari, no? Kanina nga madaling araw umabot sa 32,000 yung bilang ng mga taong pumunta dito sa Quirino Grandstand ito. At makita natin hanggang doon yan. Sa dulo ay talagang ganun kahaba yung pila. Ito pa medyo manifest na itong pilang to dahil pagdating doon parang may 4-5 lanes pa ng mga tao bago makarating dito. Diego, Angela.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what about yung security natin dyan, Evan? May mga untoward incidents na mga naitatala. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, Angela, kanina nakita natin maraming nag-iikot na security personnel dito sa Quirino Grandstand. Actually, nasa 14,000, more than around 14,000 yung nakadeploy na security personnel para nga sa darating na traslasyon. Nakita rin natin may mga nag-iikot din na mga K9 dito sa loob sa loob at paligid ng grandstand. Meron din mga medical tents na naka-standby no, kung sakali mang may kailanganin ng tulong itong mga devotees dito. At marami rin tayong mga ambulance na nakitang naka-standby kung sakali mang may kailangan itakbo sa hospital. Diego, Angela.
Evan, yung mga gusto pa humabol dyan, where do they park their cars if may sasakyan sila? Tapos saan ang entry point, starting point ng line?
Yes, Diego. Unfortunately, hindi recommended magdala ng sasakyan papunta dito dahil unang-una, medyo malayo yung pagpaparkan kung sakaling magdadala ka ng sasakyan. So usually yung ginagawa ng iba, dinadrop off nila yung kanilang kamag-anak dito sa may entrance. So itong entrance na to, itong part na to, ito yung nasa Calao,
Okay.
nasa Ross Boulevard, Calao Extension. So pagbaba nila dyan, ipipilan na sila kaagad para nga makapasok dito, no, Diego, and nga makikita natin, usually limited yung mga vehicles na nakapasok with either media personnel or parte nung crew para makatulong nga dito sa pahalik ngayong araw, Diego.
Oo, Evan, anong oras naman o yung estimate na inaasahan ng mga otoridad na matapos yung procession bukas? Kasi naitala nga daw nila 2012, yung longest procession, that was 22 hours, tapos sinusundan ng mga 16, 15, 13 hours. This time around, ano yung estimate nila?
Yes, Angela, no, usually kasi nangyayari nga itong pagtraslasyon around 16 to 20 hours. So depende sa conditions na mangyayari. No? Kanina tinatanong natin, isang factor din kasi dito is kung anong oras ba aalis itong poon dito sa Quirino Grandstand. No? Wala tayong makuha exact details no? Kung ano talagang oras aalis itong poon. No? Kanina nagtatanong tayo, meron daw around 7 a.m. Kanina may narinig ako, 4 a.m. So, hindi pa klaro kung anong oras ba talaga aalis itong poon dito sa Quirino Grandstand papunta dito sa Quiapo Church bukas.
Ayun.
Diego.
Yeah, lastly, before we go, officially ba, Evan, anong oras magsisimula ang prosesyon?
Yes, Diego. Ayun nga, no, isa pa yun sa pinag-uusapan ngayon. Walang official time na sinabi kung anong oras magsisimula yung prosesyon. Pero ang inaasahan natin is around morning, no, madaling araw to morning. Ganon usually kasi yung timeline ng pag-alis ng poong Nazareno dito sa Quirino Grandstand. No, at yun nga, no, at iikot na to doon sa traditional route na sinasabi nila at dadaan nga dito sa may San Sebastian Church kung saan nga nangyayari naman yung sinasabi nga pagdungaw. Diego, Angela.
All right, thank you for the updates. That was Mobile Journal Evan Tarinque reporting live from the Quirino Grandstand.
Siyempre, paalala lang din ulit natin dun sa mga devotees dyan na bawal yung mga nakasombrero,
There are
bawal
rules,
magdala ng backpack, di ba? Kailangan kung magdadala ng bag, clear para
bags.
makita yung
Tsaka yung
loob.
mineral, yung mga water bottles have to be clear also.
Yes, bawal yung mga flask muna.
Bawal yung mga flask.
Tapos there will be
Bawal
signal
alak.
jamming there
Yes.
and no-fly zone also dyan sa area na yan. At tapos yung andas, di ba, na usual na kung saan sumasampa yung mga devotees, bawal po ngayon yun. Ano? So ang ginawa nila, ang tawag doon,
Parang
they
ginawang-
refixed it, ano? So
They-
tinanggalan
they
nila ng
re-ano
mga
it,
parang portion na kung
They
saan ka
repurposed it
pwedeng...
into parang may parts daw yun ng metal para madulas.
Oo. So, para hindi sila
hindi mo makapitan.
makasampa.
Oo.
Tapos may sunroof, tapos may ventilation para walang moist.
Kasi nagmo-moist eh. Oh.
Oo.
Tapos kasi in the previous years, nagkakaroon ng aberya sa mga pagsampa ng mga tao. So this time around sinasabi mo, the design makes it really difficult for a devotee to try to cling on for a long time.
Totoo.
Oo.
Tapos siguro kung hindi naman kailangan, dalhin yung mga bata, wag na lang. Kasi,
Oo, tsaka senior
di ba
citizens.
there were times sa yung mga natin, over the years na mga coverage natin, we've seen reports also, may mga nawawalang bata dahil sa sobrang sikip, nagkahiwalay sila ng magulang nila.
This is why the church has made it a national feast for the first time in history.
Yeah.
Because if it's too dangerous for a kid or for a senior citizen to attend the actual traslasyon, you can celebrate the feast in your diocese, any of the parishes.
Pwede na, no? This is the first
Pwede
time,
na.
ano?
First time in history that the traslasyon, the Jesus Nazareno, the feast, has become nationwide.
Nationwide. Pero nakakita din ako ng ibang mga reports yesterday na yung mga foreigners na first time din nilang sasali sila sa mga traslasyon.
Mga vlogger, mga content creator,
sabi
yeah.
nila kasi how often do you get the chance, 'di ba, to be part of this? So sasama daw sila. sa magiging traslasyon bukas. So abangan natin. Of course,
Abangan
we will have special coverage here also here sa atin.
We'll have more details kung kailan magsisimula, but officially estimated after midnight. Abangan na natin yan.
Alright, let's continue with our countdown. Coming in at our top 9, the Food and Drug Administration is studying the expansion of the booklet-free rule for the 20% medicine discount. The FDA said they are planning to include persons with disabilities in addition to senior citizens. Senior citizens were previously required to present their booklets at pharmacies to obtain their discount on medicines. While PWDs are also required of the same, no administrative order has been issued yet to include them in the booklet-free rule. And that's going to be helpful para dun sa mga PWD natin as well as yung iba, nakausap natin dito yung leader ng mga senior citizen. Kasi most of them, pag pupunta sa mga grocery or, pharmacies, mga drugstore, hindi nila dala yung kanilang booklet.
Yeah.
So in essence, pag di nila dala yun, wala silang discount, di nila na-avail.
Yeah.
So kawawa naman din sila. So ngayon, yung rule na yun sa senior citizen discount, i-apply nila sa PWD. That's good news for them as well.
Yeah.
Diba? Yun yung importante. Kaya nang sinasabi ng ibang mga sa pharmacy and other businessmen, mahirapan daw sila mag-log ng mga inventory, ng mga nabenta na medicines sa
Senior citizen.
Sigaw na lang kayo ng sarili yung logbook.
Saka yung mas lalo na pag maintenance kasi, hindi nila sinasabi na ginagawa, pero sa maintenance, ang kinakatakot nila maging issue, madoble yung binibili more than required ng isang senior citizen. That's the reason why when we spoke to NCDA, sinabi nila, that's why magdala ka ng reseta mo. Kunyari, maintenance mo sa high blood, bring your reseta kasi doon na mamarkahan kung ilan na nakuha mo.
Actually,
Dati kasi hindi na ganun eh. Kasi maintenance, yung certain maintenance medicines hindi na kailangan kasi. Yung mga basic lang. So, ang ginagawa nila, sa booklet nila minamark kung ilan na
sa
nakuha.
pharmacy ngayon, kapag meron kang reseta, lalagay na nila yun. Kung kunya nabili mo na yung buo for the whole week, sasabihin nila served already. May mark na yun ng served. Para hindi na ulitin yung kopya ng prescription. Alright, let's continue with our countdown.
Moving on to our top 8, the Basis Conversion and Development Authority, or BCDA, has regained control of Camp John Hay in Baguio City. This is after a Supreme Court decision ordering the Camp John Hay Development Corporation to turn over management of the property. Meanwhile, executives from the business conglomerate of Manuel V. Pangilinan met with BCDA officials last December 19 to discuss potential investments. MVP expressed admiration for the site, emphasizing its potential for development. It's looking
It's a good good ruling.
While kasi na-maintain naman ng all throughout the years yung itsura ng John Hay, yung pinupuntahan ng tao doon, yung pine trees. Ang nagiging problema yung for example, yung Manor, Mile High Inn, nag-deteriorate ang quality ng itsura. Di ba? Parang hindi naalagaan. Tsaka yung mga ibang villas daw, like yung Forest Lodge in that area, hindi rin daw maintain. At may isang part sa may Lawakan side nitong Camp John Hay, unlighted, sira-sira ang daan. So that's why with this new potential Supreme Court ruling, baka we can see a better Camp John Hay daw in the long term. But in the meantime,
promising nga daw yung future.
Promising ang future because...
Pero syempre, ang inaano din nila dito is, yung isang concern din nila, open sila sa bright yung future ng mga investments at saka yung mga pagpapaganda. Pero sana daw i-maintain pa rin yung beauty, yung the way it is, no? Yung ibig ko sabihin, yung feel, yung cultural heritage na datingan ng Camp John Hay. Baka naman daw kasi baguhin ng baka ma-modernize. Pero yun naman ang sinasabi, di ba, ng MVP group of companies talagang, if they were going to be investing in that, they will preserve yung cultural heritage.
It's been clear. They parang ang based sa mga narinig kong interviews, they will modernize but while preserving. In other words, you upgrade some of the facilities. Kasi if you go to, for example, let's talk about Mile High, that Mile High area, diba, where the inn is. It used to be one of the
Yung may mga diner doon, diba?
iconic places to go to pag nasa Baguio ka. If you want to eat, may diner doon. If you want a reasonable priced place to stay, the Mile High Inn sa ilalim. But if you go there, deteriorated ang steps, sira-sira yung pavement, the restaurants.
And that was years ago.
Oo, and the restaurants already are gloomy, sira-sira, bitak-bitak yung wall, di ba? Parang sayang naman yung Camp John Hay because it has always been a... Well,
Childhood natin yun
when you talk
eh.
about Baguio, you're talking about Camp John Hay in general.
Oo. So, yun. So, kailangan yung yung cultural identity nandoon pa din. Pero don't worry daw kasi yung iba nag-iisip pa paano yung mga yung mga empleyado doon. Don't worry daw. Retain sila, walang mangyayari sa kanila. Only the general managers daw yung maapektuhan. Siguro change of leadership kasi yan eh, 'di ba? Pero the employees there are still going to be staying there, intact sila doon, tuloy-tuloy lang ang operation, ang trabaho nila. Don't worry. And also yung mga may unit doon, yung may mga timeshare.
Vilas.
'Di ba? Until 2047 pa yon.
Nag-extend sila. Yeah.
They will honor. Ito, BCDA will honor the contract. So don't worry.
Oh, don't worry. Kaya ngayon, sige, punta-punta na ba?
Na-excite naman tayo pupunta ng Baguio.
Habang malamig sana, kakapunta man lang kahit one
Ilang
day.
degrees na ba ngayon sa Baguio? Pag ganitong panahon, sobrang lamig
I
dun
think yesterday was 14 sa Baguio.
Sarap.
14, 13. Kasi in Metro Manila, it was 24 degrees this morning.
Oo. Doon malamig talaga.
Doon
Pero
malamig talaga.
nung kasi over the holidays, talagang ang traffic doon eh. Everybody kasi went
every
there.
Every year naman.
So dapat punta ka doon ng medyo yung tapos na yung holiday.
Wag naman yung pupunta ka kung kailan mainit. Hindi mo na-experience. Sa Baguio naman, ang mainit sa kanila is 27, 28 degrees eh. So, malamig.
Pwedeng wala pa rin aircon.
Malamig pa rin for us, pero for them, it's hot.
Alright, coming up, the country's inflation accelerated for a third straight month in December. Ano po kaya ang dahilan?
And several defense and security agencies were reportedly targeted by hackers. May na-compromise kaya? Meron ba?
Meron ba? Alamin po natin yan. We are just getting started. More of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning! You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Happy Wednesday po. Batiin ko lang po itong mga usual suspects natin, ang mga regular brunchies natin dito sa YouTube. We have Alex Fuentes, si Rodrigo Guanlao. Nanonood daw siya all the way from Lipa City.
Parang bago yung name yan.
Oo. Ay, hindi. Ako,
Si Rodrigo.
memorize ko siya. Familiar siya. Ronald Maxtay, sabi ni Ronald, masarap mag-night swimming sa Baguio ngayon.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, ang lamig nun. Mark Santiago, si Summer Cabrera, sabi niya, good morning mga Lodi, it's Noodles Day. O kahit anong sabaw, kayo ano ang sabaw niyo? Utak, sabaw. Joke lang.
Hindi, ginataan mais.
Ginataan mais yan. So, Tita Daisy Cancio, Tito Naldi, and Kuya Jopet, nanonood din sila. Sabi niya, we pray for sunny and fine weather for the translation. Ay, totoo naman. No?
Yeah.
Sana maganda yung weather bukas.
Kasi walang umbrellas or jackets allowed except yung mga clear na kapote.
Totoo. Si Oscar N, good morning din daw sa ating mga brunches. Dito naman tayo sa Facebook, we have Alex Fuentes, of course. Hindi mawawala yan. Si Ralph Domingo. Hindi daw siya. Won't miss the show while nursing a 39-degree fever. Get well soon, Ralph.
Wow, everybody's sick.
Mataas to, ha?
Everybody's sick, Ralph. Sige, pahinga ka muna. May replay.
Yes. Si Sam Pokemon Go, nanonood din siya sa atin. And of course, si Juan Miguel Ebro na nakita ko sa BGC. Si Migs. Sabi, hello, brunchies.
We saw him December 31.
Yes. Sabi niya, tip, choose to be worthy. O, di ba? Taray. Of course, si Mina Benales, si Esther Abaya, si Tasha nanonood yan sa atin. Of course, si Mother Earth, si Mama nanonood din yan sa atin.
Alright,
okay.
Let's move on.
Going straight now to our top 7, United States President-elect Donald Trump is suggesting that Canada merge with the U.S. In his Truth Social platform, Trump said many people in Canada love being the 51st state. He added that if Canada merged with the U.S., there would be no tariffs and taxes would go way down. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation after losing support within his party and in the country. This also comes amid Trump's threats to impose steep tariffs on Canadian goods.
I don't think that will work kasi it will take a referendum and a lot of work on
Yes.
parliament for Canada. They have a pretty decent economy naman kasi sa Canada, and I don't think remember what happened sa EU, 'di ba? You had
Yung Brexit, di ba? Ayun ba yun?
we have Britain exiting because yung economy nila proved to be stronger than that most of the members of EU like Greece and Spain that was
Yes.
collapsing. So parang yung sabi ng Britain, bakit kami sasalo ng burden itong failing economy sa ibang EU? Sa amin malakas, that's why they had Brexit.
Hence Brexit.
Ito, papamerge mo, di ba, what happens if one economy or the other starts to fail? Sasalo yung isa.
Sasalo yung isa. Pero sinasabi nga nila, sige, let's divide it sa pros and cons. Sige, pro sabihin natin, economic powerhouse kung mag-merge ang US at saka Canada.
Pareho naman economic
Pero,
powerhouse.
diba, ang cons nito, sabi nga nila, politically, it will be challenging, no? Kasi iba-iba yung there will be friction daw pagdating sa mga gun control, sa healthcare, etc. Dahil ibang-iba yung how Canada does this.
You have to
their
remember,
thing.
Canada is now ruled by the Liberal, yung ruling, parang Liberal
Yes.
Party nila, which Trudeau is a member of. And when he steps down, still a Liberal member from the party will take over, supposedly, no? And Trump is a Republican, so they're more conservative in a sense.
Kaya
diba?
nga it's going to be political.
But you know naman,
challenge.
knowing President Trump, diba?
Sabi-sabi lang
Sabi-sabi lang naman
It's not
niya.
going to really
But we're seeing now, what you're seeing
Gusto
now.
nga niya baguhin di ba Gulf of Mexico, sabi niya kanina Gulf of America. Ayun daw, baguhin daw. Dami niya mga sinabi kanina umaga.
Well, what you're seeing kasi now
O
sa
kagabi sa
Canada
kanila.
is a surge of people going back to conservatism and being conservative. It's because liberal leaders have proven recently na parang because of being liberal economy mo, which is too open already, most of the people who are from that country are losing their own income to foreigners. Di ba? Like a lot of Americans, sinasabi ni Trump, nawawalan ng business because you have all of these other people that are open to it. Kaya, di ba, like for example, instead of having an American-owned business, you'll see 80% Asians owning business, which is fine. But also, you should have opportunity for
everybody.
Yun ang sinasabi ni Trump, hindi po ako yan, ha?
Oo.
Hindi po
Pero
ako
yun
yan.
nga yung sinasabi rin dito sa Canada, yung pag-impose nga ng steeper tariff
Tariffs,
sinasabi nga nila kasi sa Canada, ang kuha nila ng import sa US is almost 75%.
Yes,
Doon lahat So pagka tinaasan mo yun, talagang malaki yung burden para
At saka hindi lang naman Canada na may mga tariffs Also sa Mexico and China.
Yeah.
Sa mga automobiles and other items. So any product that's going to be sold in the US, ang gusto ni Trump, pag imported product, mas mahal siya kaysa sa local product ng US. Para Buy America, di ba? Parang proudly Pinoy product, di ba? May mga seal tayo dyan.
May ganon.
May mga, di ba, may mga tourist, tawag dyan? Expo.
May stamp,
may stamp.
locally made.
Locally,
Ganyan.
proudly Pinoy nakalagay.
Alright, let's continue with our countdown.
On our top 6 is about the DOH budget. The Health Department was allocated over 35.3 billion peso budget for 2025. This is more than 6 billion pesos, higher than the agency's budget allocation in the previous year. The funding is also the largest granted to the DOH since the implementation of the Health Facilities Enhancement Program in 2017. The higher budget is meant for the upgrade of healthcare facilities and medical equipment under HFEP. Alam mo kasi, ang problema, if you go within Metro Manila, okay, sige, humahabol ang mga hospitals and healthcare centers sa Metro Manila in terms of yung capability to address certain sicknesses or accidents. But ito, example pa lang, sa Boracay. Boracay is a tourist destination, and yet if something happens to you, may mga certain treatments na hindi kaya ng local.
Dahil wala silang gamit.
Wala silang
Malayo
gamit.
yung ospital doon sa kung saan yung marami yung mga tourist. And it happens sa lahat ng areas ng ating bansa. That's why yung target nitong HFEP na to, yung priority nila is yung geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas.
Yes,
Ang problema lang kasi nafa-flag sila ng COA, ang DOH, because may mga areas sila like sa I was checking it kanina, we have in Zamboanga, Davao, and Sorsogon na flag to dahil may mga delays. Natetenga yung mga, yung construction doon ng mga ospital and upgrade ng mga kagamitan, no,
That's right.
ng mga medical facilities nila. So, they have to up their game, ano, when it comes to monitoring yung progress ng mga areas na dapat talagang
Kanil need.
yes, oo, kasi isipin mo like yan, yung mga Davao, Zamboanga, Sorsogon. These are yung mga far-flung areas din na kailangan talagang pagtuunan ng pansin pagdating sa issue ng medical.
Kasi kunyari kahit PhilHealth, kung let's say may package na tayo for cancer, so yung mga talagang poorest of the poor can afford now, may konting tulong with regards to address cancer problema, wala naman masyadong cancer centers in far-flung areas.
Yes.
They have to travel all the way to Metro
Dito
Manila.
sa
May
Manila.
tulong nga ang PhilHealth, pero paano naman yung lodging nila, yung transportation nila?
Kaya if you will interview yung pila dyan sa PGH, makikita mo galing yan sa iba't ibang provinces kasi nga wala silang access sa proper medical facility sa kanilang lugar. That's why they all go here, yung bulk ng tao nandito. Nagsisiksikan sila. So yun, no? Kasi finlag nga, as I mentioned kanina, finlag sila ng COA ang DOH. Dahil nga, there are several projects na hindi na i-implement, nagkakaroon ng mga delays. So they have to take a look on it kasi baka mamaya, di ba? Sayang din yung pera na binibigay na budget for them.
Alright.
Sige. Balikan lang natin yung kaninang pinag-uusapan natin tungkol sa Camp John Hay. The BCDA said that the MVP group has been selected as the interim manager of several facilities within Camp John Hay. Now, to provide more information about this, we are joined by Patrick Gregorio, the head of Lanco Lifestyle Ventures. Good morning and thanks for joining us today. Nakamute po kayo, sir. We can't hear you.
Good morning.
There you go.
Good
Yeah.
morning, sir. It looks like you're in a cool Baguio right now, based sa
Kakaingit,
backdrop, ha?
Definitely, we're here in Camp John Hay at the Manor Hotel.
Saya.
Weather last night was at 14 degrees,
Wow!
so fantastic. So, maraming
Sana all,
salamat for this opportunity.
Well, thank you, Sir Patrick, for joining us this morning. But let's start off with the discussion. With Landco now managing legacy hotels at Camp John Hay, what can we expect in terms of moving forward, in terms of development?
Well, officially, we received the award to be the interim manager of the Manor and the Forest Lodge and the Convention Center.
Yes.
For at least the next 2 years. And as interim managers, it is because we want to help the transition with the BCDA group. So, as promised by our chairman and VP, we have to help government, especially in tourism development. That is why we are here, because it's a tedious and a difficult process. Pero the past 2 days, it has been a very smooth transition with the cooperation of everyone, including, of course, Mayor Benji Magalong,
Right.
the Mayor of Baguio, and the Chairman of BCDA, Larry Paredes, and CEO Jake Bingkang. So, maganda po ang transition, and tuloy-tuloy lang po ito. As a matter of fact, I came in late because nandito po ang chairman ng Media Quest, si Ricky Vargas, who we know is the head of transformation. And he just finished talking to the employees just to say thank you for supporting us during this interim period.
Okay, it's good that you mentioned po yung employees, kasi yan po yung isa sa mga naging issue ngayon na raise na concern, paano daw po yung mga employees doon, will they be retained? Your thoughts on that po?
Definitely po, people first. We all know the management philosophy of Mr. Pangilinan, people first, before business. And nandito lang po, smooth transition. We told the employees, please continue serving the guests. It's fully booked here in Baguio. I'm sure we all know Panabenga is coming up. So, nandito po sila. We're helping them go through the transition, and we assure them that we're behind them during this interim phase. So, wala po silang dapat ikabahala, wala po silang dapat ikatakot. Ang kanilang trabaho ay nandito pa rin. Bakit? Dahil sila naman po ang eksperto dito sa tourism sa Baguio. So, we need all the help we can get.
Okay, that's good to hear. Isingit ko lang, of course, yung kamusta din daw po yung concern naman doon sa mga unit owners na through timeshare. How are we going to honor their contracts po with the new management?
Well, let me just make this very clear po sa lahat ng nanonood. ang Landco MVP Group ay in charge po ng management, interim management ng mga properties dito.
Yeah.
All contracts and legal queries ay ang BCDA po ang bahalang makipag-contact at mag-discuss nito sa mga investors dito po sa Baguio.
Right.
Yes, Sir Patrick, no, of course, ang tanong ng marami and those who are big fans of course, of Camp John Hay, the manor and the like, are asking, no, during this transition period, during this interim period, may mga certain issues like, for example, certain parts of the property daw medyo nadidegrade na daw. Can they expect daw na during your management, may improve na daw ito kahit interim pa lang?
Yes, definitely. Yan po ang isa sa ifo-focus natin, yung improvement ng environment, yung improvement ng facilities dito. Lalo na kung mabibigyan tayo ng talagang buong suporta ni Mayor na kakaalis lang nga po ni Mayor Magalong. We had a 1-hour breakfast meeting. And talagang, ano naman po, tulong-tulong eh. You know, we are developing or we are transforming a beautiful city.
Yes.
Kailangan, hindi kaya ng isang grupo lang to. Hindi naman po kaya ng MVP Group po.
Totoo.
Tayo po ay nakikipagtulungan sa BCDA, tayo po ay nakikipagtulungan sa Baguio City, LGU, at sa John Hay Management Corporation. Ang in charge po kasi ng Camp John Hay in terms of planning, managing, and operations ay ang John Hay Management Corporation under the BCDA.
Okay.
So yan po ang kaming lahat ang task force dito.
Okay. So one of another key issues po that was raised also is yung preserving daw po the cultural identity of Camp John Hay. Can you tell us more about it po to make sure po na yung mga pangamba po ng iba, nasabi nila baka daw po tuluyan ng baguhin yung itsura ng Camp John Hay?
Well, ang pinaka-importante kasi sa tourism development is yung heritage, culture, and the arts. You know, Baguio is a city of arts,
Right.
and culture. Creative city po yan eh. So, hindi po pwedeng mabago yan. As a matter of fact, sa sarili kong pananaw, ina-analyze ko nga kung ano ang Camp John Hay 50 years ago. Nung ako nagpupunta rito. So sabi ko nga, dapat mabalik yun eh. Because that is the excitement. And if kung ma-preserve natin yon, talagang mas maraming tayong customers and guests na bibisita dito sa City of Pines.
Nice.
Sir Patrick, madaming tatanong pala sa social media, itong mga ibang viewers natin. Pwede daw damihan daw ng room sa manor kasi minsan
Parating
fully
fully book
booked daw lagi, hindi daw sila makapunta.
Totoo po yun. Talagang fully booked lahat ng hotels dito sa Baguio. And I experienced it myself kasi nandito ako since before New Year. And talagang sabi ko, kulang na kulang ang kwarto. Pero alam niyo po, yan ang isa sa mga programa ng BCDA at yan po ang isa sa mga dinidiscuss nila kay Mr. Pangilinan para matugunan yung request na more rooms. Let me take this opportunity po, no? As a part of the Landco Task Force, kami po ay about to finish yung project natin dito na 220 room 6-star hotel outside of Camp John Hay po, dyan po sa Balakbak area. Tapos na po ang mga plano niyan, tapos na po ang architectural plans. Napakahusay po ng mga architects na kinuha natin, the same group na gumagawa ng resorts ng nila. Yan po ay project na matagal nang inutos ni Chairman Pangilinan and hopefully in the next 3 to 4 years, yan po ay additional tourism investment dito sa City of Pines that will provide more jobs. So talagang very exciting po. Iba po ang emotional attachment ni MVP pagdating sa Baguio. And I think that is really what is exciting because it is our sincere gesture to help develop tourism in the Philippines.
I'd like to have
times ahead.
I'd like to have an additional question lang, Sir Patrick. Is Landco also part of yung possible redevelopment of Mile High?
There are other locators. Ang maganda po sa ginawa ng BCDA is that sa laki po ng Camp John Hay of around 257 hectares ang dating dinevelop and the total of 600 plus hectares.
Yeah.
Ganun po kalaki ang Camp John Hay. So, the more locators, the more investors ang pumasok dito, mas beneficial po para sa
Right.
sa Camp John Hay. So ako po sure ako diyan na madi-develop na po yan. Kausap ko po si CEO Jake Bincang the other day, and they said nandiyan na. Locators are welcome to invest in Camp John Hay.
Right. Nako, exciting times ahead indeed. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. That was Patrick Gregorio, ang head of Lanco Lifestyle Ventures. Good morning and thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Wow,
Nakaingit yung ano niya, yung background
Ang
niya.
sarap yesterday daw, sabi ni Patrick, it was 14 degrees Celsius last night. Oo, wow, sarap. Sana all.
Minsan dun tayo broadcast.
Brunch?
Brunch
Pwede
and
rin.
value.
Oo, pwede rin.
Diba?
Oo.
Okay, sige, let's continue with our countdown. Coming in at our top 5 is the SSS contribution hike. Malacanang said it will not meddle with the Social Security System's contribution rate hike amid calls to defer it. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin stressed that the hike is well studied and based on actuarial considerations. SSS will raise the contribution rate from 14% to 15%.
You always meddle in their management of their affairs where they are very specialized. It will not work. It will not work. It may even be negative ang impact. So pabayaan na natin muna. Palagay ko, maaring yung call na yan is maybe good for next year if it ever will be reviewed. But right now, matagal na nila pinag-aralan yan. In-announce nila long before that call was made. And in fact, these benefits are being expanded now. So why don't we just let that process continue and produce results?
Oh, so tuloy ang
Yeah.
kanilang taas ngayong taon na to kasi 'di ba na according yan dun sa rules nila ng 2019, 2020, 2023 and this year yung last tranche ng increase nila ay ipatutupad na nga ngayon. So, there's no turning back. Pero kasi syempre, yung mga, like na pinag-uusapan natin over the past few days, diba, yung mga concern, of course, ng ating mga kababayan is yung taas talaga ng contribution na to. Na instead na ma-focus nila yung sweldo nila doon sa other expenses, which is napakataas ngayon. Mauubos ng ano.
Oo, pero hindi ko alam yung computation regards to employee share kung tumataas eh. Ang 'di ba kasi may employer.
Employer is at 10, 5% is employees, if I'm not mistaken.
Hindi kasi ngayon it's 14, 'di ba? O 14. So is it
Hindi, yung ibig sabihin yung yung percentage ng contribution ng employer.
So no matter what,
versus the employer.
So kung magiging 15% ang total
Ayun nga, 15, 10% sa employer,
Oh, but 5%
sa ano.
Kasi previous to that, 14% siya.
Oo.
So 10-4 lang ang
ganun.
So salo pa rin ang employer to.
Yes, salo pa rin.
Okay,
Pero
good.
mataas pa rin yun kasi ngayon nakikita nila like, yung pinaka-simple na contributor na member, 1,000 na yung matakalta sa kanya ngayon eh. So, kaya mahirap din.
Tsaka sana naman, i-double time rin nila yung efforts sila na habulin yung mga ng corporations na
mga delinquent
na hindi.
employers.
Buti kung delinquent lang. Yung mga corporations na hindi nagpapadala ng SSS ay yung hindi nagre-remit.
Oo.
Di ba, ang daming recently nahuhuli ng SSS. Pero sabi na, there are more out there. Sabi niya, ang laking
Marami.
chunk ng income na nawawala dahil sa mga...
nagbabawas sila sa empleyado nila pero they don't remit.
Plus,
Kaya marami, billions yung pinag-uusapan.
And by the time daw hinahabol ang SSS, most of these companies, nagsara na.
Oo.
Nag-declare ng
What happens,
bankruptcy.
di ba, pagka nagsara ng ganun?
Hindi, if they declare bankruptcy properly sa court, wala ka nang habol doon.
So, yung employer, let's say, for example, 10 years siya or 5 years, sabi mo na 5 years siya dun sa employer niya na nagpapabawas ng SSS and etc. Tapos, only to find out na hindi naman pala nire-remit. Tapos, nag-declare ng bankruptcy. Wala na yun?
The bankruptcy coverage only covers
Hindi na mababalik sa empleyado
the year
yun?
itself. Yung mangyayari previously, the board of directors, after dissolving the company, kasi when you dissolve the company, may natitirang yung mga nababalik sa'yo, like property na pwede mong ibenta.
Kailangan balikan yung employer mo to give, to return what
yung property na
what was
ma-dissolve
deducted.
mo at marirecover ng employer, whatever they have, pwedeng ilaan yon to pay for kung ano yung utang. But that's depende kung ano yung
Alam mo,
agreement between SSS and the corporation.
yan.
Because minsan,
Maraming cases yan
nagkakaroon ng amnesty eh.
Totoo. Maraming cases yan. So, kawawa naman yung mga empleyado natin. Alright, let's continue with our countdown.
Let's move on to our top 4. Self-confessed Davao Death Squad hitman Edgar Matobato is now under the protective custody of the International Criminal Court. That's according to former Senator Laila De Lima. De Lima said Matobato had to leave the country to make it easier for the ICC to access him for the investigation. Reports stated that Matobato and his family were able to leave the Philippines using fake identities. De Lima noted, though, that she is not aware if Matobato has received limited immunity from ICC prosecution. The former senator was the first to present Matobato as a witness against former President Rodrigo Duterte in 2016. The confessions of a hitman, ang tawag nila dyan. Oo.
Kasi nagulantangan lahat doon sa article nga din sa New York Post regarding Matobato. Pero hindi naman kasi lahat nakaka-access ng New York Post. Pero nakalagay nga doon yung mga ibang details, 'di ba? Paano yung operation supposedly according to Matobato ng Davao Death Squad. Pati daw yung pag-alis niya dito nasundan siya ng reporter.
Yes,
sa NAIA daw lumabas.
Sa NAIA, tsaka alam ko initially kasi yung mga statements ni Matobato when Senator Laila De Lima at the time came out with it, it was laughed at as preposterous, exaggerated. But after the recent hearing sa Quadcom, parang ang daming nagko-corroborate sa sinasabi ni Matobato. Like for example, yung kay Reyna Garma, di ba, yung mga knowledge ng mga ibang testigo na nakikita nila, nagkakatugma, nagkakabangga-bangga. So now, siguro, it's ICC's way of securing him na talaga in his statement. And mukhang we are going into the next stages of the supposed case against former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Sila Cañas ba nandoon din sa custody ng ICC?
Di ba nawawala sila Cañas?
Hindi ko rin alam I'm not sure.
O hindi, si Garma pa lang nasa States.
Si Garma yung nasa States.
May kaso kasi siya
Yes, pero yung sa ICC na usapin, under protective custody din ba siya?
I don't know. We have to check that. I don't remember.
Sinasabi daw kasi ni Matobato na parang hindi naman daw siya humihingi ng kapatawaran in terms of maabsuelto siya sa mga kasalanan
bumabawi
niya.
lang siya.
Gusto nga daw niya parusahan siya give punishment. Pero as well as yung yung pinaka-head nitong Davao Death Squad. Sipin mo meron pang details dun sa napasintabi sa kumakain na 'di ba, chinap nila yung body, na tinikman nila. Sorry pero kasama yun doon.
Yung head daw na tinanggal, sinuksok sa katawan para hindi daw ma-identify.
Pero ayun na nga kasi last year pinag-uusapan natin dito yung yung development 'di ba ng ICC, sinasabi ni through Senator Trillanes and of course si Attorney Cristina Ponti, baka nga daw this year na yung mailabas yung
Actually, the warrants of arrest, anytime yung inaantay natin.
Yung inaantay ng tao, 'di ba? Kasi dito
inaantay lang natin if it's through Interpol ang gagawin. Di ba?
Alright, let's continue with our countdown. Settling in at our third spot is the inflation rate. The country's inflation rate rose to 2.9% in December 2024 from 2.5% in November. Here's the report.
The Philippine Statistics Authority reported the country's inflation rate in December 2024 settled at 2.9%. This figure is higher compared to the 2.5% in November. The increase was mainly driven by rising housing, utilities, and fuel prices. Transport fares, particularly for sea travel, also accelerated inflation. Rising food prices, including those of tomatoes, meat, and rice, remain to be major contributors to inflation. According to the PSA, these are still the lingering effects of the 6 consecutive typhoons last year.
Siyempre may epekto ito. Nakikita naman natin ito, hindi ito unique ngayong month ng December, but every time there's a typhoon, ang una talagang tumataas ang presyo ay yung mga gulay.
In an interview with The Big Story, economist Michael Ricafort noted the inflation spike in December was expected given the supply and demand during the holiday season.
It's widely expected because during the Christmas and New Year holidays and run up for both of which uh, expect seasonal increase in demand and of course in prices, but only to go down upon crossing the new year. The other factors, of course, there's still the tail end effects of the storm damage, the typhoon and the flood damage in recent months, including the shear line. So we have seen that in the uptick in the prices of vegetables. But primarily, it's the holiday season that drove the prices up.
Yan. So sa holiday
Napakataas.
season kasi tumaas yung supplies na
Demand.
lumalabas yung demand eh. But if
Tapos
you look at
galing pa sa bagyo.
yung bagyo. But if you look at the inflation basket nga, those are the concerning elements na titignan mo because it's housing, it's transportation and food.
Food,
Diba? Kasi the inflation basket, food and housing, these are the key main components for survival for a family. Housing,
Totoo.
food and transportation. Pag matataas ang presyo nito, yung spending power for other items and other luxuries nawawala. So yung economy can stall.
Totoo yan. Pero nga, ito kahapon, so para lang malaman din natin yung gaano kataas yung bilihin. Yesterday, pinag-uusapan natin
Yung
tungkol sa
tomato.
tomato. 1 kilo niya, 400 pesos. Ilang piraso lang yun. On average size, it would be 25 to 30 pieces. Diba?
25 pieces?
Oo, pesos pala, sorry. 25 to 30 pesos ang isang piraso
If
ng
a
kamatis.
good quality tomato would weigh about 125 to 200 grams. Pag malalaki But if your native tomatoes would be about 80 grams per piece to 100 grams per piece. So mahal talaga.
Ito ang yung siling haba, yung mga ginagamit natin for
Sinigang.
dynamite and sinigang, 600 pesos per kilo.
Di ba there was a time, remember?
Tapos 10 pesos siya ang isang
A
piraso.
few years back, sabi nila hindi na daw uso yung mga drug lord. Sili lord na daw.
Sili lord.
Ang binibenta nila
Kasi
mga sili.
mamahal di ba?
Mamahal ang sili.
Tapos red bell pepper, tsaka yung green bell pepper, pumapatak siya ng 45 pesos per piece. So parang 1,000 pesos siya per kilo.
Ay,
Ganun
nako.
kalaki.
Natapag-usapan na high blood ako. Don't go away,
Hindi
we're not.
kawawa naman kasi yung mga kababayan natin, pag namalengke sila, di ba, magkano na lang yung, dati pag 500 pesos mo, marami ka na mabibili. Ngayon yung 500 mo, paano?
Wait lang.
Mas mataas pa sa
Mag-ano muna tayo.
Mas mataas pa sa manok.
Mag-gap muna tayo.
Sige, go.
Mamaya ka na mag-rant. Don't go away. We're not done yet. May dalawa pa tayo. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Good morning to our viewers, both on Facebook and YouTube. But since medyo gipit tayo sa oras, let's move on to our countdown.
Go.
Ka? For our second spot, Malacanang has defended President Bongbong Marcos' decision to remove Vice President Sara Duterte from the National Security Council. At the Palace press briefing, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin emphasized that there is nothing personal behind the removal of Duterte from the NSC.
Now, I'm not saying that the Vice President has already does not anymore deserve to be trusted. But I'm just saying that with the recent developments, it is not going to be good advice or good action on the part of the President to still have her on board.
He also dismissed criticism from former Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo, who called the move politically motivated.
Panelo, during his time as presidential advisor, was also advocated the exclusion of then Vice President Leni Robredo. No? So he has no moral authority to question the decision of the President.
Now on our top story, the DICT says no government data was found to have been compromised following a reported hacking incident involving military data. Here's the report.
Sensitive data were reportedly stolen from the Philippine government. Agencies dealing with defense and security were the supposed targets. The alleged suspects, Chinese hackers who have been recruited for an espionage campaign. They allegedly pilfered documents, some of which were linked to the West Philippine Sea dispute. But in an interview with a big story, DICT spokesperson Aboy Paraiso said no government data was found to have been compromised in the reported hacking incident.
There are no evidence to substantiate that there are any data, sensitive data or military data that was gotten from our systems. We continuously try to invite these threat actors to show proof and provide that they have correct data that they have exfiltrated from our systems. But so far, none has surfaced.
Paraiso noted, though, that there are continuous attempts to infiltrate the system.
As early as January of 2024, we've been very transparent with our countrymen and our citizenry that we experience several attempts. In fact, in any given day, it's around 100,000 to 1 million attempts per day.
The DICT assured the public that security measures are being strengthened.
The DICT in particular is procuring several systems that would para magbibuild ng firewall around the country that would provide an initial layer for the threat actors and several attempts to hack our systems.
For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
Okay, so puntahan muna natin yung NSC.
You have no moral authority to complain
Parang
or
nasumbatan,
raise issues on the
parang
matter.
nasumbatan pa si Sec Panelo.
Tama naman kasi si ES Bersamin, si Salvador Panelo, then legal counsel. I remember that. He was
diba?
speaking in several interviews, but not in an official capacity noon, saying that he wishes former Vice President
ilang beses nila
Lenny
sinet
Robredo
aside
to
si
be
Lenny.
excluded.
Oo.
It's because daw nagkakaiba sila ng pananaw and how the government is run. So, syempre, it's just prudent na wag muna isama sa mga meeting.
Di ba, ilang beses yun nung inappoint siya saglit sa housing.
Yeah.
Diba? Tapos hindi naman siya sinasama sa mga briefing. Tapos nagtatrabaho lang naman yung ale. Pagkatapos wala siyang reklamo, tanggalin siya, okay. Work as usual lang siya. Tapos tinanggal na siya eventually. Ganun din naman. So, kasi di ba, lagi naman natin pinag-uusapan dito yan, ilang beses na wala tayong magagawa, prerogative ng ano yan ng presidente yan. It's an EO, executive order. Unless it's yung batas talaga na hindi pwedeng galawin ng presidente alone. Pero kasi sinasabi natin ni Attorney Harry Roque, nag-post ata siya, sinasabi niya na parang ito daw yung ginawa before nung ama niya. Nabanggit mo din yan, di ba? Na before nag-declare ng martial law. Ang sinabi din daw ni ES Bersamin, daw, malisyoso nga daw ito si Attorney Harry Roque. Dahil iniisip daw yun.
Wala kang moral ascendancy. Sorry na ako eh.
Matching ka ba?
Matching ako eh.
Pero yun,
Lalabanan ko
so, tuloy lang yung
Oy,
work
pero
for others.
with regards to yung, before we go, no, with
Yung
regards to
hacking.
yung hacking, lininaw din ni ASEC na hindi daw, there's no evidence yet that it is state-sponsored. They just definitely know it's the Chinese hackers because of yung modus nila or their signature, the way they do things. It's consistent with that of the other jobs that they've done.
Every day naman may attempts, diba, to hack all of these
just that wala lang
websites.
proof talaga na it's state-sponsored. So,
sabi nga daw niya, sige, ilabas nyo, pakita nyo kung ano yung nanakaw nyo. Pero ngayon naman daw, wala naman daw mailabas sa kanila. Kasi this is an article from Bloomberg, if I'm not mistaken.
Malacanang naman kasi,
na minahack nga daw.
Malacanang, the ICT and several of the critical agencies, naka-intranet yan eh. Hindi siya naka-connect outside. May sariling connectivity sa loob, which is not connected to outside So therefore, it's not really that prone to hacking. May mga firewall that protect it. But let's see, kasi sometimes these hackers, they will steal the data and hold it ransom right away. Ito so far, wala pang ipinapakita.
Walang ganun eh. Even sa, yung dark market, black market, diba?
Dark web.
Walang ganun.
Wala.
Pero walang natawa tayo nung kailan ba yun? Wala daw intelligence fund ang DICT. Ibang mga department dito may intelligence fund. Pero yung natin, fund pala. Pero yung DICT natin wala, which is kailangan. Anyway.
Thank you for joining us again on a Brunch Wednesday. And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela and Angela Castro. And he is Angelo Castro III. We are One News. All sides, all the time. Perfect.